into the agent select stylistically how they match up. Hypoc, expectations, thoughts directly on this map.
I am so glad that Lothar closed at that point, because I think actually the success we saw G2 find yesterday with Giants was down to speed, aggression, right? Avova is actually a big switch up to enable that even further, but there's actually Gambit going to walk out short here. The drone going to spot things out, but actually Defo still finds a kill there.
Okay, so it's just guns at dawn apparently, and Defo's is working a lot better than anyone else's. Gambit have just got the iron grip around G2's throat, and it's just Nuki left alive. He's been left very, very alone. He's still got the frenzy locked in, but at this point, he has no idea where anyone is. He has lost all control of the map, all of his teammates, and Nats is closing the gap, and the timing's perfect. And I want to see more of that, man. Nats has been turning heads, but what a start, Hypoc. That's going to send just ripples through G2. What are you meant to respond with when you've just suddenly got this amount of pressure coming your way?
And I think actually that's in terms of the mind games, and thinking back to that interview earlier with Nuki, where, you know, almost saying they're willing to play against logic in some scenarios, right? In terms of just all-out aggression. For Gambit just to open with a pistol round like that, I think might just keep G2 in check, at least for these early rounds, which is so important. Again, on the attacking half, we don't want to see them get away with murder, right? Find mid-control for free. Find these opening picks for free. But we'll have to wait and see how that develops. Kellogg's, as I say that, make me eat my words. Shados will fall off the rip, and it looks like G2 going to force the issue.
Yeah, Chronicle's got a good idea as to what's going on, and he does have support here in the form of the Jet as well. Quick flash through Defo. You are a lucky boy to even get that, but the pressure from G2 might just make some problems for Gambit. Chronicle at the back of the side, having to wait this out. Flashed up, he was completely blind, trying to pre-fire, trying to get something done, giving him advantage, but no, G2's numbers simply overwhelming. Now those numbers are looking a little worse aware. Bear in mind that Nuki is low HP and they don't have a great deal of a purchase to work with. They've gathered the weaponry left strewn across. But for now, there's no armor with this. The utility will be lacking, and you're going to see if Gambit can maybe mount this retake. Let's see what they go for here. Smoke backside, still one close to try and deal with. Nats, first man forward, but in great combination with Redgar. Able to isolate Mixwell backside, leaving Nuki, the player who's the lowest HP, the last one alive, and they've managed to contain it. Hypoc, again, they kept their composure. This is something, when I look at Gambit, I see composure in the way these boys play. Yeah,
just absolutely rock solid, right? They're very rarely deterred by, most importantly, you know, things not going their way in the early rounds. You know, things like bursting through B main like that, which I gotta say, just taking away what I did from the pistol round. G2 again demonstrating they're not afraid to fight fire with fire. Right here, just run it down towards B. And the thing is, it's going to keep Gambit on red alert, right? They have to consider the possibility, even on the buy rounds, G2 do what they did yesterday. We saw how much they tried to abuse that A hold, at least on attack. So again, it's got to be something that's considered. Wait and see here. Spike not actually committed this time, and looks like G2 are actually going to sit fairly deep, as I say that, Kellogg's. We'll find an opener in mid. No immediate reaction on the back of that, but Gambit are going to walk out here. They're walking A main.
Yeah, but I want to see G2 being clean in their anti-ecos. Now, Redgar and Nats, you can see Nats trying to draw attention towards the traditional side of main, and peekaboo. Didn't really make much of it. Nats does get one, and again, this is the bonus for Gambit, so, you know, anything's gonna be quite nice if they can do damage, cost them a rifle or two, that'd be perfect. But, you know, the world doesn't always work out the way you want, but I liked what G2 did there. They took their time, they were meticulous, cautious, they held that default just in case maybe there was that more of that round one aggression coming out potentially. But at this point, Gambit will have the players at least somewhat in the right place, two staying kind of as that pack together and Chronicle being a little over towards B. But G2 going through the motions for now. They've got 40 seconds to try and take their time and work this out.
You're actually going to break a hole in the wall, and that's going to pull at least Nats back towards holding A main. You can see Shados now considering the rotation, but Nats should get some audio cues. He's still got a case to play around as well. Even one here is going to be huge, and he's going to find it.
Yeah, they're costing them money now. This is where it gets a little more dangerous. Again, one more, and that's a big tick in the box. That's a big victory for them. And again, you're not expecting to win these rounds. You want to do the damage. Give yourself that maybe economic damage that can stop them building up that swell of cash. But this is where it gets tricky, though, to bring those, you know, sheriffs. And bear in mind, they've got decent armor on Shados, light on Chronicle. So again, if they could maybe even recover some of these weapons, I don't know if they're really recoverable looking at where they were kind of lost at this point.
Maybe the one deep in A lobby here.
And surely that's been juggled away or moved, but...
You would hope. I mean, it's going to be terrible if not for these exit frags. That's the consideration here. If G2 do... It's not, no. It's right there.
That's a lovely little benefit right there. Take that.
Only repurchase requires the drone as well on the next, so... Okay. Well, kind of worth. And actually still going to get it there. Okay. And God Mixed clear again, another, and you start getting worried there. Even though 2 survived, Kellogg's, no Blade Storm. But you got to think about how round 2 went, obviously. With that rush onto B site, Gambit were only left with 2 SMGs to save out of that. So actually, bigger picture-wise, Gambit's still kind of checking off what they needed to in that round. And that's going to...
Look at what it's done.
I was going to say, the byproduct of that is Coldamenta. Yes, the rest of the team will be on, but a couple of light armors there, but a Spectre in the hands of Coldamenta.
And at this level and at this margin, and it's very poignant to keep control of that. Police those weapons if they do get lost, juggle them away, and we do see the big gun coming out, and that's one way to at least push it off the angle. Coldamenta instantly gonna pop, and now look for Kellogg to try and open up the space, but damage has already been taken. 68 HP, quick flash comes through, and G2's quick hit may have lost a little bit of that punch here. We have to see if they can get a frag quickly, because Shados is still living just in the shadow of the wall. Mixwell has found Redguard from above it. That's a problem. Shados might be feeling a little uncomfortable, but still has the support. And apparently Chronicle's going to hit that shot, is he? 8 HP, but he's still a problem, still a nuisance. And they still have now time for those rotations. Shados plays it so well, and composure is once again maintained. Even with all that pressure, they took so much space towards that B site. Gambit instantly fall back into a slightly more passive position. Everything's watched. You're not getting away with it. This is Gambit looking solid.
What a beautiful setup as well. To counter the very thing that we've already talked about, right? G2 yesterday, and yes, it did happen a couple of times on B side on Ascent, but it was usually A. But those fast hits where Kellogg's is able to just sit inside 2 smokes, burn off, 7 or 8 seconds, whereas the rest of the team can come out. Mixwell can plant a couple more, more direct flashes for him to play off. Right there, Gambit, that wall halfway up the stairs, you can see what I did to Mixwell, right? He's faced with either jumping on the wall, which I don't think he even could, even with a crouch jump, and facing Chronicle, but Shadows tucked behind. It's such a good response.
And now to try and get the lay of the land. This isn't a completely worthless investment. A bit of a Shiko, 3 sheriffs, a little bit of armor around it. Careful now. And I think Redguard's feeling a little bit of the pressure, so going to fall away. They're still going to have to clear wine, so it still serves somewhat of a purpose, but at this point, getting a feel of things, it looks like that kind of mid-crunch towards A, unless maybe they get a bit of information, a pick, something. Maybe they heard those rotations early on, but...
Kellogg's got the spike yellow, and I'm really hoping he doesn't get picked through the smoke or something, yeah.
That short pressure comes in the next 5 seconds, they're fine. Because then that Omen gets isolated, but apparently not. Redguard's actually found the timing on Nook. He predicts the play coming up of short, and he's got a great angle for it as well. That's big punishment there. I thought G2 could have found a bit of a timing to it, but it's actually not gone so poorly. Now the spike's going down, and it's a 3v3. Defo up and over, doesn't get the freebie he wanted. Not planting for that, not giving any chances, but they're dedicated towards the site. This is a tough post-plant now.
Okay, well, Avova gets picked up. Numbers dwindling now for G2 to find themselves at a 2v3, and just like that, Shados and Chronicle will combine to clean things up. Nice try there again, the recon bolt timing, and obviously Kellogg's closing the distance there. Nats for too many things to shoot at. Gambit, again, just methodical in approach there, finding every single kill required on the retake.
And I think this is where we open up the discussion, right? We can have a little bit of a conversation while it does seem as though there is a bit of a pause coming in, technical or tactical, who knows. But we do kind of get to have that conversation that we were discussing. Excuse me while I just lean over my notes. But something that we were having the discussion of is, the famous word scrimbucks come around. And the reason we do it, right, the reason we're going to have this conversation is that around Reykjavik, there was a lot of whispers, a lot of, bloody hell, this Gambit's good. How are they beating us? This CIS region is nuts. People were getting a little bit worried about it. They were getting a little nervous about it. This wasn't just EU teams. This was, NA teams when they were scrimming over this side. The Gambit were pretty scary, but we never quite saw the beast come together, did we, in that time? But now, surely there's going to be that little bit of an echo in some of these teams' minds of, God, does this translate to LAN? How does this now look when they get there?
That's the terrifying part, right? And then again, I remember the term scrimbit being adopted back in stage 1 of this year, but we're finally now kind of seeing that. And again, it's with discussions like that, you always look for that validation. You always look for that one series or that one result in an event that you say, okay, that's what everyone was talking about. I think potentially here at the EMEA Playoffs, I mean, we were also having the discussion that it's a much bigger statement for a CIS team to come out and place first in the EMEA, right? It will be. Versus some of the EU teams we have, I think this is probably the best opportunity we have. We'll have to wait and see. But G2 would definitely be a big scalp to claim on the way.
You want to fight it?
Now, Seekers went in. We do have the Divide coming out as well. Lots of ultimates invested into purely this round already. Chronicle's done well to find Mixwell, and look at this angle. That's so hard to clear, so much deeper. Killox can do it. He's going for it. The timing's going to work. Oh, I thought it was going to be favorable to him for a second, but no. So Killox is going to try and back away, but he's at least forced a longer rotation. Support towards the side going to come in. Nuki tries to clear the plant box, but no one's there. It's Shados waiting closer. Oh, that's beautiful from Shados! Just spins on a dime. Look at that guy. You're just not getting past on this site. The support coming in perfectly from Nats. These two in sync, in synergy. Gambit just not breaking a sweat.
It's actually crazy to see. Again, look at how deep they're playing on these sites. They're not contesting these close points of contact, right? They're playing away from where Mixwell can really find value with his utility, and also where Collox can find value in terms of, you know, that self-sustain. He dashes in. There's a timer on that. There's a finite amount of time where he can actually create that space for the rest of G2. The setups I'm seeing from Gambit so far, G2 are going to have a hard time breaking this, Lauren.
And even in that moment there, I can't even discredit Killox in that. The spacing and the timing was actually pretty good. But normally that's a trade, right? That's a, you know, I'll push the cat, don't worry, you can trade me on stairs. Apparently not. Apparently there is no trade. And again, this synergy we're starting to see come through, especially on that B site. I'm loving it. But still, variety being shown. Nats, he's everywhere. Maybe reading into their anti-ecos, what they like to do, and he's in the right place for it. Bear in mind, we are seeing a lot of utility poured in, but he's still just fine until then. Mixwell breaks back through, and now there's potential opened up. Now, they haven't cleared out Redgar. That's something to keep in mind. Kellox with a banger to find Shados. Rotation now cut off. Redgar with a miss, and now G2. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. They needed one of these, not one of those. And now Chronicle, not feeling so likely.
Oh, actually, got him into just... And that one slipped through his fingers, although temporarily. A matter of time. Going to try and hold on to the Odin as best as he can, but this is the sort of thing they're alluding to, right? It's the rounds where it's like almost defy logic. And again, G2 do very, very well to get as close to Nats as they can, but look what it takes to find that first blood. Yes, it's after that, it's kind of like it snowballs out of control, right? But G2, that's the pace at which they have to play to find entry and find success here. It's a thrifty round win, so it's actually pretty big in terms of, well, I was going to say the economy, but considering really, I think Gambit's still going to have 2 comfortable rounds in hand here in terms of the purchase, but... That's a perfect demonstration of exactly what we're talking about, right? If Gambit can just negate all of this early round pressure, which they're doing fantastically so far, we've got to see more of that from G2. And it's almost that tendency to want to just run it down, right?
Yeah,
which is, and it's terrifying. It's terrifying when you have to do that to a team, because it's the consistency. That's the next question.
It's
Standing ahead.
It's why sometimes it makes me so nervous when you see certain teams not necessarily depend, but thrive when their players are on that really high point, because you're, as I said, dependent on individuals to have that huge performance, which is super hard to constantly find. Whereas I feel like Gambit, they have that structure there in place that will always give them that bit of a buffer. But at this point, if G2 can maybe kindle a little bit of that, maybe build that presence back in, but Defo's not dissuaded. He's still holding towards short. There has been presence shown, a couple of players here and there, but they're actually peeling away from this, and they're holding across the map. This isn't just that A piece again. This is still...
Oh my, the timing.
Oh, the timing. I'd be out of it. Mentally just checking out of the door. See you later. I'm gone. That's frustrating. Very, very frustrating, I'm sure, for Kellogg's that. And now you can see Chronicle adjusting as well. And this time gets punished. Coldamenta gives him a taste of the medicine. Says, no more of that nonsense. And you can see the adjustment here. They're going to leave at least 1 player towards Cat, which is going to be Mixwell. 3 leaning towards B, but that means now... Ooh, Defo, that's a punisher. Mixwell's now caused huge problems. They now can't rotate away from A. This is all going to be towards that B side, but Nat's still good for 1. His timing could not have been better to find Nuki, but still, it's a 2v2. This is still manageable for Gambit. The rotations will take time because of Mixwell's positioning.
Indeed, and you can actually see Redgar making his way all the way through top mid here. So Coldamenta got to be careful because Shados, like I said, is going to be given the 1v1 from Avova. Coldamenta now, the pressure's on. The res comes through. Nat's back on his feet. 1v3 for Coldamenta.
And Redgar just feels like the final boss that you're never going to get past. He has to push now. Coldamenta's got no other option. And it's game on and it's game over. Shados is just not sweating. These boys look so calm and collected. Gambit just playing it back in that 2v2. And as said, that was without Redgar getting involved at that point. He was still going to be the final player if needed. He was that final back line.
I don't know, again, what the communication is there. Maybe they think that Avova's going to have an opportunity to catch off, or they're so confident nobody's coming from spawn. I don't know why Avova's creeping there. With Coldamenta in main, they have a perfect opportunity to at least catch one coming out of spawn, or potentially both, if that's what they thought in the first place. Or they get the information of Redgar flanking anyway, because Coldamenta gets 1v1'd. It's always better for that to happen in B main than to have the site player be the one to fall there.
Yeah. A little curious what the read was. Maybe a misread on just the positioning or the timing on it. Once again, G2 forced to kind of pay attention to play to the tune that Gambit's setting. And Gambit's presence is pretty all-encompassing. It looks like the first time we're really seeing a kind of, I guess, deeper Gambit towards mid. You can see the lingering jet on the other side. Nuki. Oh.
This is why it's always so great to watch Gambit defend, because they're not proactively looking for information, right? They're waiting to receive it.
Oh, that's great. Defo's really got the feel for it now. It was a bit of a shocker on short last round, but he's made up for it now. The timing, he's slipped the net, but Nuki couldn't capitalize. Once again, falling off patiently. Nats has just read him like a bloody book, hasn't he? He's so good, and he's everywhere. Bear in mind, on the anti-ecos, he's over towards A. He's sitting deep now towards CT on B. This boy is just all over the place. He's playing back on site, you know, deep and towards Boathouse on B sometimes. But no, the adjustments are there and a lot of faith in Chronicle. But G2 have been stuck in this position so many times and not been able to make it towards the site. Chronicle!
You can't do that with an Odin, man.
You're having a laugh.
But it's... Honestly... We talk about, like, you know, Astra being an agent where it's like, you know, chess master, you can sit back and you can orchestrate all these things. The way that Gambit play around Nats and spy cams, which are always just disgusting, by the way, and he sat in them from the start of the round, so it's not even like you get a sound cue to where it is. He sat in spawn. As soon as the barrier drops, that spy cam's active. And Chronicle, he has so much to worry about, right? He has basically all of main, any utility that gets invested, but right there, it's so great to watch.
Yeah, the way this man plays chess, I'm going to start calling him Kasparov at this point. He's just ridiculously talented. Now, we are seeing that lean back in, but Nats once again here, still finding so much value. He is truly one of the greats at this so far. Is outdone, and G2 once again finding a little bit of success here. Their anti-ecos are still deadly. They're super bursty. They can definitely do damage on this, but last time it was the post-plant that caused them problems. And maybe the plant's causing them a couple of issues here.
You got a Blade Storm off this, actually. Yeah, they swapped over to give Kellogg's, I guess, an upgrade, right?
There it is. So Kellogg's now giving an opportunity to do something with this. Two coming back in through short, but a nice crossfire being held between Main and Kellogg's here. But he actually gets found and no trade offered. Coldamenta finds Chronicle, and now there's still a 2v2. Avova still expecting another towards heaven, but it's not. Building back in, trying to bait out that Sova who's sitting so patiently. Coldamenta, Avova, they're so close to each other now. Avova trying to play the timing. They're on the site though. Avova tries to draw the attention, but he gets his head ripped off. Gambit, how are you finding these kills? G2 played that really well, and Gambit still dismantled it.
Was that important?
Honestly, it's the point you start getting nervous is like, okay, it's taken a while for them to get back onto site here. You know, G2 are playing this perfectly. They're not giving away peaks. I mean, it doesn't even give away, but Avova's head is found through the box. But right there, it's just... And there's 2 seconds. Literally 2 seconds where they lose that retake. This is just insane from Nats again. Like, you put him in a spot. We talk about being good for one. The phrase with Nats is, yeah, he's good for 2 there. He's good for 2. Maybe 3, but he's good for 2.
And again, how different could that round have looked if he didn't get the extra player?
Exactly.
G2 is still dangerous, and again, the scoreline doesn't make it look as as though Gambit are having to sweat, but G2 are pushing them in really unorthodox rounds. They are just handling it extremely well. And another adjustment here, we've got Jet pushed up towards A main. You're going to have this kind of close contact play from Redguard towards Shore. Doesn't have to leave, but he's going to. Dips away, going to use that Judge. Maybe Lincoln Spirit is still here. You have Avova finally put him down. So Control now being slowly worked away at by G2.
Defo actually
He's in
under a
trouble.
lot of pressure here. Only got one more Cloud Burst, no dash, and Avova will find him. Chronicle with the Hunter's Fury from the back lines. I don't even think got any damage there. Which was to slow that push towards Gen. Maybe help Defo out a little bit. All 3 members now stacked up. Let's see. Chronicle can find anything off this drone before it expires. Actually, no, it's not.
Oh, a lovely flash from Mixwell gives him so much potential. And wait, Shados, you're not meant to win that. Just walks through the old, like, you know, the big boy coming into the site. Alien HP building back up now, but Chronicle not able to find much from this. And look at the crossfire, look at these post plants. 2 players in towards Hell. Chronicle still found Avova, but there's surely no chance in this. Surely. It's over and done with. He's closing the gap, but time is everything.
Oh my god, he's got the defused. Are you kidding me, Chronicle? You absolute psychopath. What is that? They can do no wrong, Lauren.
Last round.
They don't lose. They don't lose.
I mean, we talked about the mind games.
Again?
We talked about the mind games. This right now is brutal. Absolutely brutal from Gambit.
My ult's not
And it's the first time, really. I mean, G2 are always the ones in the driving seat in terms of breaking the enemies. Like, what is that?
You're not meant to be able to do that.
Nowhere to run.
Yeah, welcome to the CIS teams, I guess. Hey, Nats fancies a bit of it too.
Why not?
Yeah, go on, crack on. Absolute iron giants the way these guys are playing Gambit. Just everything's just working. It's all working. Avova's gone, and we know what it's like when Avova's on. Keep that in mind. When Avova has a game, he clutches out, he gets you kills where you're not meant to, but it's Chronicle today who's having a game like that. Just finds Nookie on this, and it's 3 alive in a post plant. Now, they do have some site control, but Redguard, don't you do it to him.
Nearly caught him in the drone.
Don't be doing it to him. Chronicle again! Hypok! This Chronicle! Hypok, what is he doing? How is he doing this?
I'm terrified to see the rounds where Chronicle actually buys a rifle today. Because these are I mean, Mitch, this is like Mitch's wet dream material right here. This game.
He's going to watch this VOD so many times.
He will be insufferable for the next week.
Look how viable it is. Shut up, Mitch.
Sides.
Shut up.
I made the point at the start of that half, like, about G2 having to really force the issue on rounds to even find entries, right? To find value in the early rounds. They kept doing it in the ecos, but you can see that that fear starts to develop, right? With this scoreline, you can't throw away what the effectively 3.5 buy rounds you had in that. Like, that was absolutely brutal. And the problem being, yes, we saw a very, very visible example yesterday of breaking Giants' mental, right? And Nuki absolutely nailed it for me in that interview, right? They got in their heads and they were just like, okay, you know, we're going to defy logic. We know that we're more experienced. We know that you guys are going to fold back in on yourselves if we just break you. That was the game plan. Here, that couldn't be less of a factor.
Well, Gambit on the attack. No slouches either. 10-2. This has to be a pistol round win for G2 unless, you know, it's GG go next. There's no need to kind of call it something it isn't, but Mixwell fancies start here, looking a little different, but still doing nicely enough. But it's all effective trades still for Gambit, who've processed towards the site. They've taken strides towards it. Spike now in the hands of Redguard, going to be put down. And G2 with Kellogg's, Nookie, and Coldamenta to play it back through.
I think Nookie actually going to get tagged up as well. He's got to back away. Kellogg's got a Sage Wall to deal with as well, and that's atop it. Yeah, for he's only going to have 2 magazines left here. He does actually spot Nats up on the top here, so Coldamenta going to try and clear through. Just can't find the angle here. Nats will find Coldamenta. Kellogg's last man standing will find Nats, but 10 HP, nothing but a consolation kill. Right here is Gambit about to put their 11th up, unless Kellogg's has got something incredible up his sleeve. And he won't. This is An absolute masterclass right now, Lauren, from Gambit. I mean, G2 have no option but to force here. When's the last time you saw Nuki in any series, even the ones where G2 lose, where he's 3-12? Like, it's completely unheard of.
And this isn't necessarily just... G2 aren't playing terribly. I'm just looking at Gambit going, they're doing everything right.
Gambit are just in a different galaxy right now.
Absolutely. They are heads and shoulders above G2, and I think if we look at the teams where they're at, I still find SMB hard to judge where they're at because I haven't had, you know, the long-term experience of them, obviously seeing them so far. But everyone else, I'd say at the moment G2 are probably the team towards the lower end of the ones that have qualified from EMEA at this point. So again, it's very hard to get that judgment of who's where, but Gambit right now looking very much towards the top. And yeah, this is still going unwaverably their way. Spike now in, and it's on G2 to do something about this. Mixwell happy to put himself as the first man forward. Takes space, good amount of room now to be worked with. Apparently not. Shados gonna find him, and it's all so just simple. It's like dominoes falling as now Nuki again last man alive, and you don't even get to have a clean fight. They can see you before it. It does not matter. It's 12 on the board. This one's done.
Match point.
Yeah, it is. At this point, I mean, scratch it. Hit F5. Yep. Let's get to the next map because this is terrifying, honestly. And again, it's another since this roster kind of has been revitalized, right? Since G2 obviously rebuilt around this obviously this Mixwell foundation.
Yep.
This is going to be the most brutal battering that they've taken on any map. So what happens in map 2 when they're not the ones in the driving seat, when they're not in a position to say, yeah, you know, slipped a little on map 1, but you know, map 2 we just came out and we knew we were better, right? That is not the case here. Gambit are playing flawlessly.
Yeah, what an exciting team to watch how they go forward. I can't wait to see how they shape up compared to some of the other regions we have yet to see. Now, again, same prospect for G2 in a way. They were the feared ones at the very start, and now look how it's turned. However, at this point, Nuki finally trying to get himself in, this forcing himself in, but Nats is having none of what he's trying to sell, and Nats just doing him dirty. Sound of Chronicle against Avova. And Chronicle, all about to be closed in on. There it is. Little drive-by. There it is.
Recovering it.
Oh, they'll get one at least. See here is...
Mitchman spamming things about Odin's.
Everybody right now, just do me a favor. You will all thank me in chat. Just mute Mitchman on Twitter. Anybody who does follow him, just mute for the week.
There's
Seriously.
a reason we call him Mute Man.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't even want to look at the production channel right now, seriously.
No, don't. Just don't. 3-12. G2, this would be monumental. I'll talk about a comeback if I see any glimmer of it. Any. But now we wait and see if G2 have anything left in the tank this time around. Gambit slowly processing what's in front of them. Kellogg's forced away from middle, and the space regarnered, retaken from Shados.
We'll actually wall off as well towards spawn. Actually, on the back of that, G2 you flex a little into B main. So there's 3 members committed here. Nuki and Mixwell with it all to do if Gambit decide to flip back the other way. As you can see, Chronicle creeping closer and closer. Nuki actually holding nearby. Chronicle just absolutely slaps him.
Close flash.
Oh no.
Both blind. Does he come out
Everyone's
in time?
blind. Everyone's blind.
I was hoping he wouldn't have taken so much of that flash, then maybe getting away with a second less, 2 seconds less, but even with, you know, the Astra utility and everything else, it really didn't matter. Sights there. As you said, the problems would occur if maybe just Nuki was caught out, but obviously Mixwell in the same position. And now staring just down the barrel of a gun. 3 players on the retake. 2 rifles, though, of Over and Kellogg's can do work here. They need a pick to provide itself soon. Nats is still just sailing towards hell. He's not worrying about a thing at the moment. Avova now gonna start working in, but look at the damage. Good start from Kellogg's. Redgar's gone, and now they need some more. Spam comes in. Kellogg's gonna try and find some safety, but it's Nats. It's always gonna be Nats, and he does not care. Chronicle to close the book on this one, as Gambit get 13-3.
They're just absolutely stone cold, like I said.
Yeah.
It is crazy to watch a team just be in that much control over a team like G2 as well, where, like I said, we talk about fresh results and the impressions coming out of yesterday, where we're just, You know, we're kind of thinking, you know, finally, you know, when Kellogg first stepped in, there was a couple of series where I was like, okay, are they going to enable this guy? Are they going to really play around and buy into him being on the Jet? We see yesterday where it's just like, oh yeah, they are. They're absolutely all on the same page here. And then coming today, maybe, you know, I don't know, shake off a little bit of rust. It's the first game of the day. Maybe they bounce back in map 2, but it's very rare I sit in a series and just go, oh yeah, I'm actually worried about map 2 now. With that level of dominance shown on Ascent, I am worried for G2 on map 2.
Yeah, it looks like Gambit the Iron Giants are carrying on as expected, just purely mechanical in the way they play. It's just so well drilled. And well, that's map 1 done. I barely feel like we've been here at all. It's just, you know, quick as anything, but it's how it goes. Gambit have really proven themselves already in map 1, but map 2 is still up in the air. Guys, do stay around. We'll be back with the desk after the break.